Okay, on my video where I made the case for the 6.8, I had a quick part on oil pressure. Thanks to a comment, I learned something about the way it's supposed to be measured. So I'm doing a quick follow-up to set things straight. By the way, the picture here is of an oil pump from a 7.3. It's a screenshot from a video by I Do Cars where he does a Godzilla teardown. If you haven't seen his stuff, seriously, just stop this video and go check him out. I put a link below. It's a fun channel. He tears down blown up engines. Anyway, he gave me permission to use this picture, so thanks, Eric. So here's a screenshot from my last video. I mentioned that 20 psi was a healthy idle oil pressure and that it looked like Ford might have overcompensated for the low oil pressure issues they had with the 7.3. So here we are idling at just over 36 psi. Cool, huh? But then I got this comment from Sageru302. I hope that's how you say that. He said that oil pressure should first be checked with the key on and engine off, and to take that number and subtract it from the number with it idling. I said I hadn't heard that and that I'd try it, so I did. To be honest, I was kind of hoping that the engine off number would be 0, and that would be that, but nope. With the engine off, it was reading 98 kPa, or kilopascals. So I need to subtract that number from the idling number, and that's my true oil pressure. The reason for that is the sensor measures pressure relative to vacuum, not relative to atmosphere. So that 98 is literally just the barometric pressure in my driveway in kilopascals. Everything above that is actual oil pressure. But on the plus side, your truck can apparently tell you when a storm is coming, so there's that. So let's start with startup oil pressure, and then I'll show idle. So the corrected oil pressure using the number on the screenshot here when starting an already warmed up engine is 42.6 psi. We took 392 kPa, subtracted atmospheric pressure, then converted it. So I let the idle settle out, then measured again. And look at that, right at 20 psi. It does jump around a lot, but just eyeballing it, it seems 240 was about the middle. In fact, here's a quick video so you can judge for yourself. You can see it pulsing. It doesn't just spray like a garden hose. As the vanes turn, there's pulses of oil, and that's why it jumps all over the place. When you're looking at it on a graph, it's actually kind of a wave. 240 is right about the middle, so there you go. Also, this time around, the fuel rate was lower. The AC was still on, but it was cooler outside. So for fun, I did the math, and at this rate, it can idle for right about 48 hours on a full tank, for whatever that's worth. So that's the right way to measure oil pressure with ForeScan. You have to account for the barometric pressure. If anyone's interested in how to get that set up to test for yourself, let me know and maybe I can do a quick tutorial or something. The bad news is the 6.8 isn't exceeding expectations like I thought. But the good news is that it's meeting expectations. 20 is where it needs to be, and that's where it's at. So why a variable displacement oil pump? No, I'm not going to answer that. I'm literally asking why. I know it saves a tiny bit of fuel, but is that really necessary? Getty's Garage had a lot to say about that as well. For a Super Duty, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Maybe someone knows why they would have gone that route. Most everything else in this engine is dead simple. I will say, though, I did a deep dive into how these oil pumps work, and I think they're kind of interesting. My problem with them isn't reliability. They're pretty solid, especially if you keep up on your maintenance. If they lose signal, that spring up there forces it to full pressure. It's just that I don't see why it's not full pressure all the time. Give it all on a work engine, you know? Anyway, the design is kind of cool. I was thinking about making a quick video explaining how they work. There's probably not a huge audience for variable displacement oil pump explainers, but that's okay. Anyway, that's it. So I'm still working on putting together a deep dive on the 10R100. I've still got some gaps to fill, but hopefully sooner rather than later. So anyway, take care, and thanks for watching.